Post. It's
Yes,
getting
yes, it is
recorded.
enabled. So it is
Getting
enabled.
recorded. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Good evening and welcome one and all in this wonderful evening. Yes, we are joining all together here for the no 294th session. The topic which is going to be recognizing challenges and expanding new idea for young. For that, we have Dr. Balan Radhakrishnan, Deputy Dean of Research and Innovation, Faculty of Psychology and Education, who is from University Malaysia, Sabah, Malaysia. Welcome, sir, and I welcome all the sincere participants. Behalf of Dr. Suresh, our head, and the core team members of Mental Health Webinar Series, and also the institutions, Department of Psychology, the American College, Madurai, and other associations, Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, International Center for Clinical Psychology and Psychotherapy, Germany, MS Chalamuthu Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation Center, Madurai, Redbond Education and Psychological Research Center, Madurai, Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey. I welcome all the sincere participant and today's speaker again, and I request Chandra ma'am to give more information about our speaker, Dr. Chandra ma'am from our core team.
Thank you, Veera sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Chandra here, one of the core team members, and I'm happy to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Radhakrishnan, who is the Deputy Dean currently in the Department of Psychology and Education, University of Malaysia. And he has had his degrees from University of Malaysia in Psychology, Industrial and Organizational Psychology. He has been the members of INSPA and MASPA. He has also been working in other institutes like UMS and Rima College, Kuala Lumpur. His field of specializations are psychology, industrial and organizational psychology, intervention of social issues, youth and community development, deviant social and mental health issues. He has been member and also he has led a big team on different projects in different institutions. Very proud to know, sir. And he has also published many articles in national and international journals. And he's also author of book chapters. He has got his proceedings in national and international conferences and workshops. And it is very glad to know that he is a recipient of many silver medals and also gold medals. It is also important to note he has also received World Inventor Award in 2013, Korean Invention Award under category of Education and Teaching Invention. So having known you is a privilege for us, sir. It is well deserving for us to have you here and to hear you lots about your ideas on how to expand the ideas for young and the challenges faced. Thank you for being here, and the session is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Chandra, and also all the members from the University of Madras and the other colleges. I think most of you are students, and I would like to rather than just I'm talking. I hope that when maybe if you cannot talk to me, maybe chat with me. Maybe when you chat, then maybe I can share from whatever that when I talked the topic and challenges and how to expand idea. 2019 pandemic, and now we are in the year of 2020. How do you feel about this? I think many of you are still students, which is very young, and I think many of us are having a lot of I think some kind of stress and anxiety. I currently work in the Department of Psychology and Education, Malaysia, Sabah. This is the place that I'm working for, Kinabalu, which is the Borneo side of Malaysia. I born of psychology and education. These are some projects that I'm working with. Usually I work with a lot of youth and I work with the basically I related to all about intervention. How we like you all, and many of my books and my research related
Excuse me,
to
sir.
all youth at problem, youth at risk. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're very clear. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting. Can you make the PowerPoint in full screen mode, sir? Thank you.
Okay.
It is just a
Thank you,
recording one of our
Chandra.
participants, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. You can see my the PowerPoint. Okay. This is, I think, most of us well versed about coronavirus, and everybody listening every day. Yeah? So this is nothing much new for in quarantine, and still some of us are going work by online and all that. But I think India got many cases whereby a lot of people been affected. So this is the why this virus becomes so problematic to people, especially to human, and especially to the young generation. And according to the new UN United Nations plan to address the COVID-19, young people are some of the most affected by the pandemic social economic impact. Like when we are talking about social economic impact, when we can see there are many people being affected because of they don't get a job. They cannot find financially they broke. So this has become also a major problem even in Malaysia, because there are many graduates have been waiting for work, and there are many students cannot complete their degree or masters or PhD because of this pandemic. So there are many socially and economically impact on this young group. So this is what we will be looking into, and why youth become so important. And we know as a young generation, they really we need them, because they are the people to be a leader. They are the person who making decisions. They the one change decisions. They are the one solving problems. So we want youth, young people to be healthier, safer, and also we are looking into equality. That means everybody are equal. There is no gender bias and all that. So when we're looking into this type of issues, and what we can do, what we can into to help them out, especially young people, on demonstrating their continued leadership and the to the communities and countries. And I think many of us as a young generation, we really need a good leader. What type of leader? Good leader means what? They can be they become an examples to the others. Okay, now so when I said about this, first I start with pandemic. So when I say about pandemic, there are many positive and negative side. And basically, we can see there are many negative side of pandemic rather than a positive side. And main factor that we can see, it's about socially, economically impact for young group. Why I'm saying this? Because why even I say group which is already graduated or waiting for graduation or waiting for graduate, they still cannot find a job. Because why? One of the main issue is because of this pandemic. There are many people lost their job. Even can you see a lot of people are doing a small business. Even some pilots in Malaysia, they got no job. They're selling burgers, breads in the roadsides. So that has become a situation within this 9 months period. And a lot of airlines, like especially Air Asia, Malindos, Mars Airlines been closed down, and there are many businesses been closed down. So we can see this pandemic, it's not only impact by sociologically or social factor, but it's also give a lot of impact on economically. After that, maybe we can feel after 6 months of this pandemic. So what happened to the young generations, especially those been waiting for a long time to get a job? they've been a lot of suffered. There've been a lot of cases been talking about this young group, what we can do, what we can help them. So when we look into this, there are many challenges. Do you have any idea what are the challenges this young group are facing? Anybody want to share? Anybody, one or two from this audience? Any challenges that you feel as a young group? What are the main challenges that you face? Maybe you can chat to me also if you don't want to speak it out. Anybody want to share?
The teenagers, they are not able to mingle with their friends. They are restricted in their
Yes.
home.
So you feel that is a big challenges as well?
One of the challenges, sir. One of the challenges.
One of the challenges.
And
But I think that is a very important point, Ashwak. Thank you so much. Because why? Because why? Human are created for social communication. Human, if you say human, is a one main component is social communication. So when you are socially isolated, you cannot mingle with friends, cannot mingle with your relative, you cannot talk to anybody outside there, with your neighbors. You've been usually you are never had been at home. You've been at the college, you're meeting a lot of friends. But now in this pandemic, the main challenges is we cannot talk to anybody, even to our family members. So that's become also not able to meet boyfriend and girlfriend. Definitely, that's also become a main challenges. That it become a main challenges because why young groups they really want some relationship and they cannot talk to their boyfriends and their girlfriends. So when I look into this, thank you Ashfaq and the other any other system become online mode. Yeah, that's also we will be discussing on that because when you're talking on online, the most important is crucial is about the internet. We a lot of students have been complaining even in Malaysia. Even my students have been complaining because some of them from the village they're still complaining, but they're still complaining because they cannot access the internet. So when they cannot access to the internet, what happened? They cannot join the class on time, and some of them cannot sit for the exam. More screen time considerable affect their what? Affect their what? I cannot read the chat. I have to make it small in order for me to read the chat.
Affect the health, sir. It affects the health. It affects
health,
the health.
of course. It affects the health. Okay, so there are many emotionally imbalance. Oh, very good. There are also part of the challenges. Okay, now let me go one by one. Number one, the first challenges. The social distancing. This is also I think many of us have been aware with this, especially those young group because they cannot graduate, sports actions, sport season, college visits, and other long planned events have been cancelled or postponed. So whereby students cannot join any programs because they've been restricted from joining any programs, sport events. A lot of college students cannot be graduated this year. Even in Malaysia, this year there is no graduation for the students. They've been studying for 3 years. Suddenly this year they cannot be graduated because they aim for them to be graduated, but it doesn't happen on time. So this is also because of social distancing. Because there is a policies, there is a government have said we need to have some social distancing in order for us to avoid the disease. So this is become main challenges, especially for those who have been, they're very friendly, they have to talk to people, they've been very close to their relative. Now they have to stop. And that has become a major challenges for people, especially for the young group, because they cannot do whatever they like to do. Okay, now, second thing, that we need to share and also to think. It is the main challenges also. We can see there are more challenges young because they have risky time for risky behavior. This is what a lot of research been proven, especially on this pandemic. There are a lot of cases, increased the cases of risky behavior, where like smoking, drinking alcohol. There also proven a case of drugs and also some anti-social behavior. Like, for example, they've been involving with the fighting with their family members, arguing, domestic violence in the family member, and some people are, they sexually abuse, sexually have harassment. There are many cases. This is risky behavior among these young group. And there are examples being given, a lot of research being given, especially on this risky behavior. We can see drinking and smoking increase, especially on this pandemic. I don't know how far it's true in India. Maybe later you can share to me. Some of the point that I given here, it's what happened, especially on the youth in Malaysia. And some third things, there are two diseases now. Number one is COVID-19, and the second disease is the fake news. Fake news, news which is fake. So why? Because this is also considered as a disease. And you see a lot of people been affected emotionally. Just now people said about emotional disbalance. Disbalance in emotional. Why? Because a lot of information which we gathered, the information that we get, sometimes it's not true. So what happened to us? We've been disturbed by emotional. This is also using social media and applications to spread the accurate information. So the disease is not only COVID, but the news that we receive every day. And you see, research has been proven, when you are getting a lot of information, wrong information or fake information, it will increase the anxiety of people. So when it's increase the anxiety of people, it's also affect mental health as a overall. So when we can see information, it's not just information, but how much is accurate? What are the information that I need in order for today, how many cases today, and people have been talking everywhere. It's been talking about this pandemic and especially on this COVID. But how many of us we can be sure that information that we receive from the news, from the magazine, from the people, from the social media, how much is accurate? And there are many research people have been doing this COVID, especially on the medical field, on the vaccine, to overcome the virus. And there are many people have been talking on this technology, that technology, how to come this, that, how come they produce this type of technology to help people. And there are many information which is not accurate, but we have to trust. This trust makes us to be anxiety. The next point, when speaking out for effective and equitable care, this is related to the how much that we are having an instrument in order for us to, we call this is personal protective equipment, right? UK National Health Services emphasize the need for personal protective equipment, which is PPE, increased testing capacity, protection of most vulnerable population. Young and ladies have been categorized as vulnerable group, whereby they're easily to get, especially also for the old people, which is more than 60. It's very easily to be been affected. So what are the equipments that we need? And do our equipments are easily to get? And how much that we prepare for that? This pandemic rebels the existing inequality in society. Sujata said, protecting the most vulnerable should be priorities for at all times, just not just during the pandemic. So how much the effective, the equitable, how much the equipment that we have in order to help us, especially in India or in Malaysia, do we have equipment which to help our society, especially this vulnerable group populations? This is also become a main challenges, because especially medical equipment, do we have a proper medical equipment to help our society? Next challenges, how to championing our mental health wellness. Now, as I told you, pandemic has given us a lot of mentally stress, especially on stress, anxiety, and there are many cases of depression, and there are many cases of suicide. Even in Malaysia, there are many people have suicided and successfully suicide. Even young boy have suicide in Kota Kinabalu about 1 month ago. So we can see there are many challenges, especially on this mental wellness, especially those have been affected, especially economically, they've been affected by relationship, they've been affected by studies, educations, and also on. So there are many people being uh, stressed because of these social isolations also. This is how to championing this mental, how to improve our mental health in order to for us to getting a better opportunity. Okay, now innovating, improve access to life-saving testing. This is related to medical. There are many research been doing everywhere. A lot of people been doing research, especially to. But why people there are innovating? This is also a challenge. Do my innovations can improve? Been everywhere, especially on this testing to individual riding up in cars and bicycles. People try to share information about our innovative to improve access to the life-saving testing in everywhere. I think even there are many drive-through testing center in New Orleans, Louisiana. There are many drive-through even in Malaysia, whereby people are taking care, life-saving testing in order everybody safe. This is also, I think, even in India. Okay, now the most crucial that we have to discuss is about critical aspect of combating coronavirus research. I think we as a social scientists, we need to also have to think about what are the research in order for me to do related to this COVID-19, especially on the young group. What are the main research that we can do, especially on the mental wellness, on the how to cope with this mental illness, how to be cope with this pandemic, how do we help young group especially to cope with this pandemic, what are the support that we do to help. So the basic fundamental is to come up with research, because there are many people have been talking, but do we have a proper research, scientific proven research in order to tell people this is my finding, this is the what I can do, this is what the help that I can do from my research. So this is also become a main challenge among young group. What are the main research that we can do in order for us to help this young group? Okay, now, so we can see there are, and the other part that we can see is about how to strengthen our communication, especially on the that we have between the authority power and with this young group. Do the information reach the young group with the appropriate time, with the appropriate right informations, and so on? This is very important because we don't want people to be panicked. So when we reach the right information on the right time, on the right place, what happened? We will try to reduce the potentially panic, and this is also to increase our mental wellness. And this is also a lot of research being done. This is how to deliver food and sanitizations in order to help people. And this is what there are many development, there are many process to help these people who are suffering for food. There are many state, there are many village people don't get a food. So what are the help that we can do? This is also become a challenge to young group. There have been research been done for community development for peace. CDP founder Mohammed Firdaus worked through the organization to distribute dry food and sanitization kit to daily laborers such as street vendors and rickshaw pullers in Bangladesh. This has been research because She has been giving distribute dry food and sanitization kit to daily laborers. Even in Malaysia, we've been distributing this also. Social activities, Krishna Maheshwari is also providing free meals to family in Pakistan. His self-initiated service prioritized single women and widows, as well as the workers whose livelihoods have disturbed by the crisis. So we can see there is also research being done in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, even in Malaysia, even in many in India, whereby what type of people been helped, especially those been affected on delivering food and also sanitization. Engaging social, official and lawmakers. This is another point to secure funding for COVID-19 response. Also implementing a protocol to address the safety for girls and women during the pregnancy. This is also become a challenge because there are cases being reported. These girls and women during the pandemic, some of them have been affected. Like what I said just now, I told you, there are cases being sexually arrested. So what are the funding that we have to help this group of people, especially the women and girls, and who need the safety for girls and women during the pregnancy? So what are the funding that we have? And this is also become a challenge. And a lot of policies are there, but do the policies have been reached to the people in the right time? Do the people, poor people, are getting the information and the help that which they really need? So do we think the law and the policies are appropriate, especially in this our country, even in Malaysia or in India? Do our law is helping them? Do our law is accurate to help them? And this is also becoming a challenge, because why? There are many people been never get the help they really need. There has been a law, but the law doesn't reach the right people. What we can do that, and it's become also a big challenges, especially to the ladies and the women during the emergency, especially emergency, because sometimes they need to treatment, they need to get help, but they didn't get help because of the this pandemic, and this also some of people misuse the law. So this is become also an important point which we need to consider, how much lawmakers and elected officers have been doing their work in appropriate time and appropriate place, and do they are giving a appropriate help to those needed. Ensuring the most vulnerable are not left behind. Like I said, who are the vulnerable? Especially we can say there are number one, it's about their gender, especially those are women. Those are old group, which is more than 60. And this is some people, those are really special group people. Those are need special attention, like for example, the handicapped, So these are the people are very vulnerable, and they should get help. And this has become a major challenge, because there are many people have been complaining because they never get the help they should get. And this has become also a problem. And this has also become a challenge. How do we help them out? Several reports show that those in humanitarian setting, particularly groups who are displaced and or living in camps, may experience the rest effect of the COVID-19. The direct effect of the COVID-19. So we can see these are the group of vulnerable are not left behind. And this is also a big challenge on this pandemic. Okay, so when I look into this, all this point, maybe later we can share, some of you can share what are the ideas. So let me discuss something very important challenge. Number one, I said about social distancing. Because of socially distance become a lot of major mental stress, especially to young group. because they cannot communicate. And you know, a lot of research been proven, social human, if they never talk to people, they never communicate to people, it's become a major stress for them. That has been research been done even in China. There are many research been done even in UK and US, how social distancing can impact people's mental health. Number two, which I discussed about risky behavior, there have been a proven case whereby in this pandemic, the cases of risky behavior, especially taking alcohol and smoking, increased among young group. And it is also become a challenge for us. Number three, how social information become a disease because the information that they're getting not accurate, and that is maybe a fake news, whereby it will increase the anxiety of people, especially young group, because they've been listening to radios, TVs, the media, YouTube, telegrams, WhatsApp. So each and every time they're getting this type of information, they get exhausted, they get anxiety, and this is increase their palpitations and also increase their stress level. And I said about how much that there have been research. Do we do a lot of research related to our equitable care for our personal protective equipment and also protections for this vulnerable group, especially from the medical or science field? How do we championing our mental health, wellness? That's also part of our challenge, especially how to reduce our stress, how to increase our positivity, how to increase our good values in order for us to be always our well-being increased, be in a very high level. And how do we do testings in order to innovate things that we testing, especially in medical or in social psychological or psychological field or in counseling? What are the innovating modules that we do in order to help people who are vulnerable? And this is a research how to develop and how to convert to a technology in order to be used by people. How we strengthen our communication within this COVID-19 among our people. What are the right information? How do we get the information the right way? What are the strategies that we develop in order for that information that we get is the right information? This is also a big challenges. How to deliver food, how the law should be a right law in order to help people who are vulnerable. This is lawmakers and the officers must be engaged to community in order to help them. There are many laws, but they is not engaged with people. They is not engaged with society. It's not engaged with young group. So it's also become a challenge for those people. Make sure the vulnerable group are not left behind, especially ladies. Those are being really need some help, special needs people. They need some help from ours. And that is what, whereby this is be not left behind the vulnerable group. So what we can do that? What we can make challenges? What these challenges we can take over? How can we take over these challenges? How can we make the differences as youth? Number one, only trust on the reputable resources, on information on the outbreak. This is especially on this pandemic. Never listens to many information which is not right. Of course, we have been listening to our friends, our relatives, TVs, media, and so on. But make sure that information that you gather, the information that you receive, is the right information in order for you to not to be anxiety, not in order for you to get stressed, because stress, anxiety will cause you mental illness. Stay connected to your friends. There are many people, there are many research, there are many things we can do, especially on this pandemic. There are many people have been more they've been together, especially on this pandemic. But of course, besides social isolation, social distancing is important. But make sure that we communicate to a problem. Even if we got any issues or problem, try to communicate. communications to your family members, to your friends are very, very, very important. There are many youth we keep quiet, especially when they have a education problem, they have a relationship problem on this pandemic. They never share to anybody. That's why the cases of suicidal become increased. Even yesterday, you can see one artist suicide. I don't know whether the case is true or not, but in Chennai, the lady in the very popular artist, she passed away. She suicide. There are cases. She hang herself in the room. So we don't know if this is related to pandemic or what. But I'm saying when you never discuss your problem, you never discuss to your issues to anybody, you are not connected to your family members, you're not connected to your friends, it will cause you a lot of stress. So make sure all friends, whatever problem, you find somebody to talk to them. Maybe there are some counselors, there are psychologists, there are some psychiatrists whereby to help you out. So that is very, very, very crucial, very, very important for you to come out and to think that whenever I got problem, whenever I got issue, whatever issue that you have, especially on this internet, you have issues of your relationship, you got issues of financial, you are scared of your graduations, because a lot of cases also been proven when this pandemic, people get scared so fast, they get so panic so fast. So this how to avoid all that, you try to communicate, try to share your feeling, your emotional to some people, and that will help you to reduce your panic. It will reduce your anxiety, it will reduce your stress level, and that is the most importance in increase our well-being among our young group.
Yes.
Try to anticipate your distress. Individuals been engaged to stay away from the smokings and drinking.
That's true. Yeah. While you internship on that is.
Hello, Ronald. You're talking to me? And how to comprehend the meaning of life, spirituality. There are also people been talking about spiritual value, how to increase the significance with the spiritual value. And when I talk about spiritual value, is how you connect yourself with the positivity, how you connect yourself with more higher values on your life, and that will be increasing your quality of life, and it will also increase your positivity, and it will also increase your mind to become more cool and calm. So make sure your spiritual value and your spiritual value is important, and how you relate yourself with all this positivity. And the last part, what we can do, what the way forward. All people need to focus on their own safety. This is very important, particularly on their home cleanliness, hand and social distancing. Research on social and emotional wellness will help, particularly those in stress and uneasiness. So always remember, your safety is very, very much important, and it's very crucial. And always take into consideration when even your social distancing, even you're in the family members, social distancing is very important. Always clean your hands and all that. You've been listening all that, wearing your mask, facial mask, and in a proper way, and all that will help you to overcome the mental illness, and it's also part of the challenge that you need to look into that. Okay, I think that's all. Maybe I leave it to the host. Maybe if you have any questions. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem, Madam Dr. Subhasri. No worries.
Yeah.
I'm always happy to help. I cannot hear you, Doctor. I cannot hear you. Can you repeat the questions? I cannot hear you, doctor.
Yes, sir. I'm Veera again. Yes, she's facing some technical, and she's she wanna thank for joining with us, and really, she said like it's honor to have you today, and that is what Dr. Subhasri wanna communicate.
Okay,
Really,
okay. No problem, no problem.
Really wonderful, yes, sir. Really wonderful session. But everyone, we wanna thank you for joining with us. And Dr. Veena ma'am is there. I request Dr. Veena ma'am to conduct the question answer session.
Yes, thank you, Veera, for that. I hope I am audible for you all.
Yeah, doctor. Please, Dr. Veena.
Yes, Dr. Balan, that was wonderful presentation. Thank you for your inputs, and thanks for accepting this and giving so much of what to say points regards to the COVID. And the forum is open for question and answers. Participants who have questions can type in the chat box, or you could unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Sir, can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Veena. Sir, it is an amazing, wonderful presentation regarding COVID-19. Sir, there are different informations we are receiving, even from that reliable sources. And we can see that number of COVID cases and its impact on psychological component like anxiety and depression are coming down. When we look at that, when the COVID-19 awareness was created in the month of February and March and April, we can see there are many people who were fear about it, and they were followed all the preventive measures suggested by the government. But nowadays, I can see, I think many people are not following that, and they are not having that fear about that COVID-19. So what may be the reason for that, sir?
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful questions. I think it's a good question. Because why? Because we human, when you try to develop the basic, people try to adapt. People try to adapt whatever the situation. Because we are human, we try to adapt. Sometimes we try to adapt according to the environment and situation. So, like first of all, when you become a child, when you see something, you've been excited. Then you try to change it when you grown up, and your experience makes you okay. This is fine for me. I can adapt. I can change. And if I don't change, I just leave it. To answer your questions, when you're in the March, April, May, 3 months we trying to adapt the situation. So every information is very important. So I become very panic and fear. But gradually I try to adapt the environment, the situation that I have to deal. Because why? I need to survive. And some people, when they have to go work, they need to survive. They need to find money because they cannot stay at home. So the adaptations of human are natural. So we try to get, because we set up our mind. We set up our mind, okay, this is what is happening, no problem. I need to change, but I need to be safe. So when that adaptations will give you so much of positivity in yourself, whereby you reduce your fear in a sense of in order for you to survive. But that is a positive side. On the negative side, the cases are increasing. There are cases are increasing because there is no social distancing. People are going out, people going to the markets, people going to shopping, people go for relative wedding, birthdays, parties, and everywhere. That's because of not fear. It also can give you a negative impact on the people, and then that's why the cases are increasing every day. People are dying because you see the frontliners like doctors and medical nurses. They've been crying every day because the cases are increasing. But normal people like us, we don't feel anything because I go to class, I go internet, it's fine for me. But those are in frontliners, medical doctors, like nurses, policemen, they have to work for 24 hours without non-stop. So we need to see that also. So in order to answer your question, why people reduce the stress and the level of fear after 2-3 months, that's normal because of your learning behavior. You learn, oh, this is fine, this is okay. I started to learn that behavior and it's become norms for me. Norms means become okay, no problem, it's natural. So I start to adapt because of your learning process. You start to process. If next year, if COVID still happen, you still feel nothing because after 1 year you feel I already adapted with the situation. Maybe another disease comes, COVID-20 comes, then you start to fear on that. Or COVID-20, we don't know next year. So the adaptations make people change. Adaptations make people mindset to be more positive. Do I answer your question, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So because that's the but see, fear sometimes helps to reduce because people never go out, people not gathered anywhere. But when you don't have that fear, the disease increase. But in the positive type, mental wellness increase. But disease increase because social distancing is not. People never even wear masks. When I see in India in news, people are going out for the market and without any social distancing, and there is no mask at the face because no fear. When you fear, you will never do.
Oh, true, sir. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you, Balan sir. In continuation with the previous question by Suresh sir, I want to ask a question like, sir, once this situation is going to change, because as now there have been talks that the vaccines are going to come soon.
Vaccine,
And,
okay.
yes, after that, what, sir? Because there will be again a shift in the routine of everyone's life. So, what are the red flag areas we have to look in for that time? Because people are used to this sort of lifestyle and they are thinking this is the new normal. So,
Okay.
this is they don't realize that this is only for time being, and again they have to shift back to their routine works. So, as a psychologist, what would be the red flag areas we have to look in for? So, what sort of psychological impact will be there on people then?
Can you make it more clearer your questions?
I mean, like right now, people, like you said, they are adapted to this new situation.
Okay.
New COVID situation, and people are like roaming and no sort
Yeah,
of.
true.
It's
Okay.
the new normal lifestyle. People are
Okay.
thinking that. But most of them are working from home. Even the colleges are being taken online and everything, and people got they got adapted to this situation. But this is going only a temporary phase, not the permanent phase. I mean, like, it will become normal again after the vaccination and everything. People will be getting back to colleges, getting back to office. So at then, what will be the psychological impacts we have to look in for?
Okay, now the first psychological impact which I look into, the first one is the especially on their mental health, especially on the anxiety. So we, of course, after the normal, after maybe next year, people get to go back and they think, okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, now what are the main challenges that we as a social psychologists are facing now? It's about how they become active again next year. What are the psychological help that we can give in order for them to become to become aware of disease, because this is all a temporary. This pandemic is temporary, but people must be conscious. Maybe there are other disease will come. But how do you adapt with this situation? How do you give? That means not only pandemic you take care of your mental health. This pandemic only you take care of your health. No, we take care of mental health and our health all the time. So the research still need to go all the time. So because why you see many countries very focused on this pandemic. 2020 It's all pandemic. They focus on medicine, they focus vaccine, they focus on social distancing, they focus on everything. After normal situation, nobody cares about health. Nobody cares about research. Nobody cares about psychological impact on people. So, what is my idea? The social psychological impact should be carried out throughout years, whereby we as educator, especially in the university as college, we always emphasize about this social communication, delivering of social communication, how to take care of health, especially on mental health. Not only this pandemic, how you communicate when you have problem, we still do that. So to answer your questions, Dr. Veena, even situations become normal, we still need to teach them what are the positive ways that they need to take precautions, preventive, before anything happen. Because maybe next year nothing, but another future we get another birth disease. Every day people can die. So what are the preventive method that we can do in order to help them psychologically? And that's why we are very important, because why we need to do a lot of research. We need to do a lot of instrument to test instrument, psychological instrument, in order to cater all these psychological problem in future. And we might be a counselors, we might become a psychiatrics, not psychiatric, of course, we are not medical doctor, as counselors and psychologists, helper, who guide people how to take care whenever they got issues, problems. So that is very important, I think, Dr. Veena. In future, we do a lot of techniques or procedure whereby we can help to tackle social psychological problem or impact among teenagers, especially young group. Do I answer your questions, Dr. Veena?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for emphasizing that prevention is always better than cure.
Yes, doctor. Because why, doctor? We are psychologists, and Dr. Veena, we always think after the problem, then only we look into the solution. We are looking into the testing. We are looking for the instrument. So what I'm saying here, we look into the preventive. What we can guide them,
Yes,
the
sir.
students, especially teach them how to take care of themselves, especially on health, how to communicate when you have problem. This is an ongoing process. We've been doing this. I think everybody have been doing that. But preventive method are more curable rather than the medical.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you,
Do
sir.
you
Thank you
agree
for
with my point, Dr. Veena, or you have some other point?
No, sir, definitely, because like you said, it's not only with this COVID situation, mental health is very important, uh, even otherwise. So the emphasis on the importance of mental health, creating a lot of awareness, and also breaking the stigma and the barriers is quite essential. As such,
Yeah,
many
exactly.
don't talk about mental health and the importance of mental health. Thanks for emphasizing on that, sir. Thank you so much. And
I like your point, Doctor. Awareness, that is also important. You already given one very good word. How to make students to aware that I really need to take care of my mental health. Not only this pandemic, but throughout years. That is also our contributions, Dr. Veena. I think the awareness. How do we make students to aware? Because there are many cases students are not aware. People are not aware. So our contributions, you asking me question, how do we make aware people? Definitely information. We need to give them a right information related to this mental health, especially on this stress, how to handle stress, anxiety, how to handle depression, how to handle all these panic situations. That will help them to overcome whenever they have this type of pandemic.
yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Veena. Any other questions? Any other point, idea? This about challenges and what we can do. What are the creative ideas that you can do? How you want to expand your knowledge, idea, especially on this pandemic time, especially on this psychological aspect. What are the research, innovations? Any other questions or any other idea?
Sir, can you type your email ID in the chat box? So if the participants have any queries regarding to that, they can write to you. And
Oh, time is over now, Dr. Veena?
Sir, we have another few minutes, but we have the vote of thanks.
Okay, no problem. I am thanking so much Dr. Subhashri for the opportunity. I usually talk a lot, so she knows me.
Even I know you, sir,
Okay,
pretty
now,
well.
so I have published a paper. In COVID-19. You can Google in a Google Scholar, Balan Radhakrishnan. I published one paper on June related this COVID-19, how social distancing caused a lot of anxiety among young group. You can read that article in Google Scholar, Balan Radhakrishnan. You can just type Balan Radhakrishnan, Google Scholar. You can see my article on this, how social distancing itself give a lot of negativity, especially on this COVID, on this mental health, social distancing.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, we will go through that article and we will definitely send you the reviews as well. Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening session on recognizing challenges and expanding new idea for young. Thank you so much. And now is the time to place our vote of thanks for you. And I take this opportunity to call upon Shubhashri ma'am to do the honors.
Thank you, Dr. Veena. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Ma'am, your voice is not audible now.
So much, Dr. Balan. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, Dr. Subhashri.
Thank you so much for the wonderful speaker has spoken about and April 14th. Youth, that was a comparison between Malaysian youth. You can see that a lot of difference. I could really see that the Indian youth could really bounce back very fast. There's no much of they got used to the system right now. And I really thank Dr. Balan Radhakrishnan for his wonderful presentation, as well as accepting the invitation and also being graceful over here. And I'm very sorry. I regret that most of the time we have much of the participants, maybe because of the repeated, seminars are going on and students are also having the end semester examination. We couldn't have much of the participants here today. My sincere apologies to Dr. Radhakrishnan because he is accepted from Malaysia. But I really thank the participants who have been traveling. 30 of them have been throughout the session. That shows that the focus and the purpose been served for these people who really wanted to get benefited. Thank you. My apologies, and as well as thanks so much for your wonderful session, Balan. And you have been in your own usual way related and also connected with people. Thank you so much. I place a record officially from Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, as well as Meta School of Social Work, Department of Psychology, and the other institutions who have been associated with us throughout this entire mental health webinar series. Thank you so much, and we would like to have you for one more session on positive psychology intervention, which Dr. Krishnan also mentioned while he was talking to us that Balan is very good in positive psychology. Why don't you have him here? So I really welcome you on this platform again for a wonderful session on positive psychology intervention. Thank you, Balan, for your rocking one.
Thank you so much. Sorry for if I have said anything wrong. Take care, Dr. Subhashri. I really enjoy with all your students. Hope we can meet again. I will leave right now.